Warm greetings. Welcome to online video session on software engineering module 2 of video session 2. In the video session 2, we'll cover 3 modules over themes object oriented modeling history. So in the 3 module, we use a class model, state model and interaction model. So these are the different viewpoints of the models. So in the class module, we'll see the objects in the system and their relationships. It describes the static structure of the objects in the system and their relationship. Class model contains a class diagrams. That is like a nodes, graph, arcs and relationship among the classes. We'll come across different types of class modules, different examples in the coming next chapters. State module. It describes the aspects of the object that change over time. As the time moves, the objects of the model, it keeps on getting changes. It specifies and implements control with state diagram, a graph whose nodes are states and whose arcs are transition. So there is nodes are all states and arcs are all the transition between the one node to the other node. Interaction model. It describes how the objects in the system cooperate to achieve the results. So in the interaction module, we come across 3 types of module. One is use case module, sequence diagram, activity diagram. In the use case, it describes what a system does for a users. In sequence diagram, it shows the object that interact and the time sequence of their interactions. Activity diagram elaborates the important processing steps. So in our previous class, that is software engineering lab, we have seen use case diagram as well as activity diagram. So what a system does for a user, we have seen in the use case diagram, and in the activity diagram, the processing steps. So activity diagram, you took the example of a mental health care management system. In the use case, you took the mental health care management system. In the activity diagram, we took that of course we took the activity diagram for the mental health care management system. So next, object oriented themes. In this object oriented themes, we have a 6 stages: abstraction, encapsulation, combining data and behavior, sharing and object essences and synergy. So what do you mean by abstraction? Abstraction lets you focus on essential aspects of an application while ignoring the details, that is focusing on what an object is and does what before deciding how to implement it. So the main object of an abstraction is what an object is and before designing object how to implement it, or before designing a implementation, that is not in detail, it gives a like a skeleton of a development of a project. It is the most important skill required for the object oriented development. So abstraction is the most important skill required for the development. So you can see the example for suppose a bank means application, that is a applicant went to a bank, and if you want to fill the application of the bank statement, that is bank application. So instead of filling this 4 information, he keep on filling addresses, contact number, name, tax information, favorite food, favorite movie, favorite actor, favorite band. So which is not at all important for the banking system. So it requires a name, address, contact number, and tax information. So which is important? There is nothing but a skeleton of the project is important for the development of the abstraction. So that is what gives it. That is brief description of the project. So next, encapsulation. It separates the external aspects of an object from the internal implementation detail. It means there is a concept of the encapsulation is to hide the information from the other viewers. Encapsulation prevents a portion of a program from becoming so interdependent that a small changes has a massive ripple effect. So prevents a portion of program. So if you changes any of the main program, so the program which is being hidden from the main program, it should not affect it. So that's such a way that which are the important, which should not be affected by the other changes of program, change of program. That concept, that programs or that part should be hidden from the remaining programs. So this is what we can say, give an example for encapsulation. If you see the that is entire thing is been hidden from the remote control. So the just if you that is operate, the it has to work. So we don't know what actually is connected in between these two. So this is what called we can call it as an, or we can take it as an example for a encapsulation. Combining a data and behavior, the caller of an operation need not consider any implementation task. Operator polymorphisms shift the burden of deciding what implementation to use from the calling code to the class hierarchy. So we usually use the data structure hierarchy. Once if you use the object oriented, we have a class hierarchies. So old approach of object oriented, we used to use a procedure hierarchy. Now we are using the object oriented approaches. So we can make use of the code, whatever we have, we are using object oriented, we can make it into some other programs, the program which of object oriented programming. So in the old approaches, it was very difficult to make use of the variables or codes. So that is the advantages of using object oriented programming languages. Sharing. Object oriented techniques share at different levels. Inheritance of both data structures and behavior lets subclasses shares a common code. So inheritances, so the parent classes as well as child classes make uses of the there is members or attributes or variables. That is what advantages of using a object oriented themes. Time. This sharing via inheritance is one of the main advantages of object oriented languages. More important, that is saving in code as well as conceptual clarity. Object oriented not only allows sharing information within an application but also offers the prospect of reusing design and code on future projects and making use of libraries, components, etc. for the some other projects. Unfortunately, reuse has been overemphasized as a justification for object oriented technology. Reuse does not just happen. Developers must plan by thinking behind the immediate application and investing extra effort in more general design. So whenever reuse component has to be used, so the developers must to plan. So where the code will make use of, this code will be make use of some other project. So that planning should be there with the developers. So then only we can make use of the shared or reuse the components or the reuse the modules or reuse the codes. Emphasis on the essence of an object is the another stage of the object oriented themes. Object oriented technology stresses what an object is rather than how it is used. So that is what it stresses what an object is rather than how it is used. The use of an object depend on the application. As the requirements evolve, the features supplied by objects are much more stable than the way it is used. So importance of an object is, these are the 2 points. Object oriented development places a greater importance on data structure, in this respect, object-oriented development is similar to the information modeling techniques used in database design, object-oriented concepts, as well as class-dependent behavior. Synergy, identity, classification, polymorphism, and inheritance characterized the object-oriented languages. Obviously, these are the four concepts that characterize the object-oriented languages. Each of these can be used in isolation, but together they complement each other synergetically. So all these four, if you make use of in object-oriented languages, programming languages, so coding will be more efficient, and the developers has to spend or less time in developing the components or modules. The benefits of an object-oriented approach are greater than they might seem at first. The importance on the essential properties of an object forces the developer to think more carefully and deeply about what an object is and does. The resulting system tends to be cleaner, more general, and more robust than it would be if the emphasis were only on the uses of data and operations. Object modeling history. The work at GE General Electric R&D leads to development of object modeling technique. So the work what was the doing in the General Electrical R&D development leads to the object modeling technique, that is we call as a OMT. OMT was success, but so we have several other approaches. The popularity of object-oriented modeling leads to new problem, that is the notation expresses similar with the some other symbols of the mathematical symbols. So it makes a confuses for the developers and in the communication difficult while developing the application. For that, as a result, the software community began to focus on consolidating the various notation, combining all the notations. In 1994, Romberg and began working with the Booch in an OMT and made a OMT and Booch notation. So in 95, that is Jackson also joined a rational and added some more object to the unification of the work. The Unified Modeling Language, we call it as a UML, was highly successful and replaced the other notation in most publication. The UML has ended the object-oriented notation. Now clearly accept the object-oriented notation. UML is now the standard notation in the industry, software industry. In 2001, OMG members started work on the revision to add features missing from the initial specification and to fix problems that were discovered by experience with UML 1. The result is UML 2.0 approved in 2004. The access to the official specification documents were in this following website. You can be seen if you want to go through. So by this, we have completed the first chapter, module 1 of video session 2. So we'll go on to the next chapter in the next video session. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the online classes. Thank you all.